Tonight, I am so thrilled and so honored and so proud to introduce the love of my life, the father of our two girls, and the President of the United States of America, Barack Obama.
You didn't elect me to tell you what you wanted to hear. You elected me to tell you the truth. And the truth is, 4 years ago, I promised to end the war in Iraq. We did. I promised to refocus on the terrorists who actually attacked us on 9/11, and we have. We've blunted the Taliban's momentum in Afghanistan, and in 2014, our longest war will be over. A new tower rises above the New York skyline. Al-Qaeda is on the path to defeat, and Osama bin Laden is dead. And the truth is, and the truth is, and the truth is,
said repeatedly that I intend to close Guantanamo, and I will follow through on that.
And the truth is, and the truth is, and the truth is, and so long as I'm Commander-in-Chief, we will sustain the strongest military the world has ever known. And the truth is, and the truth is, and the truth is,
this is really going to be devastating to the whole diplomatic community and the whole State Department community. Chris Stevens was one of the most popular ambassadors and foreign service officers really in the whole department, and he was such a Middle East hand. Everybody knew him, really loved Libya. He's been working in and out of Libya for the better part of about 5 years, started in 2007 as the first U.S. official to go on the ground as the U.S. was restoring its ties to the regime of Muammar Gaddafi and really trying to build up U.S. political and economic relationships there. Then when the Arab Spring happened and the Libyans took to the streets against Muammar Gaddafi, he was quickly appointed as the ambassador to the transitional government in Benghazi, really helping them to build a transitional government that could be ready the day after Muammar Gaddafi fell. And so when Muammar Gaddafi did eventually fall, there was nobody, he was really the only choice that could be seen as the ambassador to Libya to stand up.
Around the world, we've strengthened old alliances and forged new coalitions to stop the spread of nuclear weapons. We've reasserted our power across the Pacific and stood up to China on behalf of our workers. From Burma to Libya to South Sudan, we have advanced the rights and dignity of all human beings, men and women, Christians and Muslims and Jews. But for all the progress that we've made, challenges remain. Terrorist plots must be disrupted. And the truth is, 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 and the truth is. Europe's crisis must be contained. Our commitment to Israel's security must not waver, and neither must our pursuit of peace. The Iranian government must face a world that stays united against its nuclear ambitions. The historic change sweeping across the Arab world must be defined not by the iron fist of a dictator or the hate of extremists, but by the hopes and aspirations of ordinary people who are reaching for the same rights that we celebrate here today. So, my opponent said that it was tragic to end the war in Iraq, and he won't tell us how he'll end the war in Afghanistan. Well, I have, and I will. And while my opponent would spend more money on military hardware that our Joint Chiefs don't even want, I will use the money we're no longer spending on war to pay down our debt and put more people back to work, rebuilding roads and bridges and schools and runways, because after 2 wars that have cost us thousands of lives and over $1 trillion, it's time to do some nation building right here at home. And the truth is, we draw strength from our victories and we learn from our mistakes, but we keep our eyes fixed on that distant horizon, knowing the providence is with us and that we are surely blessed to be citizens of the greatest nation on earth. Thank you. And the truth is,
ordinary Americans were kept in the dark about, at least until now. Our next guest is the author of a book detailing what he calls a world of secrets and lies. Kurt Eichenwald conducted more than 600 hours of interviews and chronicles the first 18 months after the attacks in his new book, 500 Days, Secrets and Lies in the Terror Wars. Kurt, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So you write about the now infamous memo received by President Bush on August 6, 2001, titled Bin Laden Determined to Strike in the U.S. And you've said that not just that memo, but a lot of information that preceded that memo leads you to the conclusion that there was, in the Bush administration, quote, significantly more negligence than has been disclosed. So how much information did they ignore, and why did they ignore it?
Well, it's a complex question. The first part is easy. They had a lot of information. They were getting information in May that there was a cell in the United States that was planning to strike. They were getting information that it was going to be a big operation. There were going to be mass casualties. One of the big problems you had, though, was getting past the level of disbelief. Because what you have to remember is that the Bush administration came in. You know, the Republicans had been out of the White House for 8 years. And during that time, national security went from being about countries to being about, you know, guys on the tops of mountains in Afghanistan. And they just didn't buy it. And so when you had the CIA coming in and saying Al-Qaeda, the Pentagon pushed back and said, no, it's a fake. Bin Laden isn't a real threat. He's just trying to gin stuff up so we don't pay attention to Iraq.
So, Kurt, speaking of Iraq, one of the things that I'm still trying to figure out is how exactly and why exactly we ended up going to war with Iraq. Can you take us behind the scenes in that decision-making process?
The decision-making process was really ugly. I mean, one of the things, there are a few things that come out in 500 days. One of them is that the Defense Intelligence Agency did an assessment of our intelligence on Iraq and concluded that it was terrible. That we really did not know very much. The CIA Iraq group was cut out of the loop, and really everything was being run on a very high level within the Pentagon and the Vice President's office, Dick Cheney's office. And so what you had were people who firmly believed that Saddam had weapons of mass destruction and weren't. If someone came in and said they aren't there, they just thought they were wrong. And so you ended up with this push, this pressure to go in, even when the intelligence was coming back saying there's nothing there.
Kurt, have we changed enough as the military, the defense, the intelligence community? Have we changed and grown and learned enough from this that we're not vulnerable and we can prevent another attack, or do we still have growing to do?
Well, we always have growing to do. The biggest problem in any national security issue is the one of fighting the last war, which, you know, if you think about it, it's exactly what I was describing before. The new Republican White House was looking at their last war, that being the nation states, you know, the Iraqs of the world. And now we still have this mindset of this unified concept of Al-Qaeda. That, when I say we, I mean the public. The intelligence world knows that what we're dealing with now is a multi-headed hydra with hundreds of heads. And so, the truth is that while there is less ability to have a massively orchestrated strike, the difficulties of preventing a strike is much harder because you just have so many different places where the information is held very, very tightly.
Guys, I think, Kurt's book speaks to the outrage that's been well documented over the Iraq war and what happened after 9/11 from a foreign policy standpoint. But I have to wonder if you'll find that same outrage in a few years, maybe after Obama's been out of office or if he gets a second term after that, over this administration's seemingly unchecked hostility to civil liberties, whether it's in the drone attacks, the assassinations of American citizens without due process, the Espionage Act invocations. I mean, it just seems like Glenn Greenwald, to quote one person, called it America's drone sickness. The Atlantic put it, Obama's execution of the drone war should terrify even drone defenders. I'm wondering if you think his administration will get the same treatment, a deserving treatment, that the Bush administration got after the Iraq war.
Well, I think there's the potential there, and this is going sort of way down the line, where there's a precedent that's set by Obama sort of accepting a lot of what Bush did and also expanding it in many ways. And if you're expanding presidential power that way, that means your successor or your successor's successor is going to take that and maybe expand it further. So this could be the kind of thing where we look back a generation from now and we say this was the starting point of something. This was the moment a certain level of presidential power on, the drones, for instance, or on the, the kill lists that have been reported about, where this was sort of thing was sort of institutionalized. I think there's a possibility for something like that.
And I think also, go ahead, Kurt.
Okay. Well, that's sort of the issue of, why the book is 500 days. Because the policies we're talking about in that period, they've been revised and they've been refined, but they're what we're dealing with now. And, the armed drones went up about 6 days after 9/11. We started down that path. And when you have the realities here of again, what I was talking about, the complexities of dealing with terrorist organizations, you pursue whatever you can.